Welcome, everyone, to the Best of Markham podcast, brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from FitnessSolutionsPlus.ca, your personal trainers for chronic conditions. Here with me today is Anna Luciano from Lashes and Lipstick Beauty Bar. Anna, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, Igor. Thank you for having me. Like you said, my name is Anna Luciano. I am an entrepreneur, a medical esthetician, and I own Lashes and Lipstick that's here in Markham. Essentially, I am just a woman trying to help people feel their best and confident in their own skin. That's the heart of it.
That's just beautiful. How'd you get to be an esthetician?
Okay, so this started back in 2011. I started off as a makeup artist. I dabbled a lot into bridal, some TV, magazines, that sort of thing. And it kind of like transitioned from there. I went to school a couple different times. And I even remember like growing up saying to my mom, like, oh, I want to be a hairdresser. So I went to school a few different times I did like social work and some other things. It was not for me. It wasn't my passion. It wasn't my calling. So in 2011, when I started makeup artistry, it kind of tumbled from there.
Gotcha.
And
And
I
then
became, yeah, a medical esthetician.
amazing. And
Yeah.
so you're not just a medical esthetician, you're also the owner.
I
So
am also the owner.
yes. So how'd you get to go up from I'm a medical esthetician to I'm the owner of a med spa?
I wanted to do something for myself, something on my own. So it just sort of transitioned that way. I started working from my parents' basement here in Markham. And then from there, it got really busy. And my dad did not want to have all these strangers walking through his home. So he's like, please go find a storefront. So I found a little tiny hole in the wall at Kennedy and 407 underneath one of the buildings there.
Yeah.
Um, I opened up there, and then within 8 months, it just exploded and expanded so much that we were ready to open up this location, so our permanent home. So I got the keys here January 2020. We started our renovations, and then the world shut down in March of 2020. So that's sort of how it all came about.
Perfect timing. So you said you were getting very, very busy in your parents' basement and then your previous location. To what do you attribute that?
A lot of that, I think, was a good online presence. It was word of mouth. And truthfully, the relationships that I started building with these clients, because I was solo at the time.
Right.
And I really think that the relationships that I had with these clients, like I still see them today. Like people that have started with me in 2011, like in my parents' basement, they're still with me today, which is
Um,
still wild to think about. But I truly attribute sort of the success to, that relationship, that trust, and obviously a good Google online presence. I think that's really important, websites, your SEO, that kind of stuff. But the repeat business and the constant referrals, that's what did it for me.
that's amazing. Now, the most difficult part of entrepreneurship is getting your first client. Because you need the first person to develop word of mouth. So
Yeah.
how do you get that very first 1 to 10 clients?
Friends and family, they
Or
would come in. I started working on them. You start posting, you start sharing. It's so funny because my Instagram, the Lashes and Lipstick CA Instagram, it dates back, I think, all the way to like the very first time Instagram even existed. And I just had my social media girl go through that whole timeline history and archive everything. We had like 7,000 plus posts. We are down to now like 1,500 posts and change because like that was 13, 14 years of history there of not only personal stuff, but also, the makeup artistry and kind of how I built. So it was very funny to see, how it all started and how it built. But a lot of it was friends and family and just consistent posting online, and then you just get referrals that way.
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So your two main sources of new clients are A, word of mouth, and B, online presence.
Online presence for sure. I have like a great little community on Instagram. What I do is I follow my clients back. They follow Lashes and Lipstick. I follow them back. I interact with them. I comment on their lives, the things that they're posting. And like, if someone got a sunburn, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so awful. Like, things like that. Or if they're on vacation, you have the best trip or,
Yeah.
job promotions. It's sort of how I've stayed top of mind, just
Yeah.
being and interacting with these clients as like human beings. That's why I don't really have anyone running the social media account. I
Yeah.
have someone that creates our posts and our hashtags and all that stuff. But when it comes to actually running that account, the DMs are still coming to me. I'm
Yeah.
still doing the likes. I'm still messaging.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a small business. You are the face of the business. It's not like you have an IBM. I personally don't know who the president of IBM is or the
Yeah.
CEO,
Don't
but
even know what they look like.
yeah, exactly. I don't know any president of IBM in the past or present.
Yeah. I
But
was in Musselman's Lake the other day and I was playing with my niece. She's 13 months old and they have like this cute little water park there. So her
yeah,
mom and I went with my niece. We were playing around and someone just she kept looking at me and she's like, I know you. So this person comes up to me and she's just like, I know you, and I'm not sure like where I know you from, but I know you. And I was like, oh, like, and it wasn't until I started talking to her that she was like, are you the owner of Lashes and Lipstick? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh, I come there. Like, she goes,
oh,
I follow you on Instagram. I see you on Instagram. So that's how she knew me. Like, that's how she was able to place me.
yeah,
So it's interesting for sure that like, yeah, I am my brand. I am the face of
yes.
Lashes and Lipstick.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And so you said you were doing stuff for somebody else, and then you started things on your own. What appealed to you? What attracted you to entrepreneurship?
You know, the answer 10 years ago when or even like 2017 that answer would have been like oh I wanted to make my own schedule
Yeah,
right I didn't want to ask for permission to do things which is so funny because that's kind of like how it started where I was just like I can do this by myself like why the hell not I don't want to
yeah,
ask permission to go on vacation but now my clients run my schedule like I have to ask permission from them to be able to leave the country for a couple of days you know what I mean
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's actually really funny how that changed because I went from working you know full time for someone else to full time for myself but and then some I'm not just talking 40-hour weeks we're talking 60 70-hour weeks because of all the hours I have to put in at home doing admin payroll marketing all the hats that I have to wear the meetings that I take doing podcasts like this
Yeah.
you know making sure that people recognize the Lashes and Lipstick brand there's just so much that goes into it behind the scenes that I'm still servicing but also still running every other aspect of the business and it's just a lot more hours now.
Yeah, yeah. So it used to be the time freedom. What's changed since 2017? So why do you keep being an entrepreneur?
Wow, because
What's
I don't know how to do anything else.
yeah,
It's kind of like trying to teach an old dog new tricks. Like imagine I've been doing this on my own since 2017.
yeah,
And then if I had to like not be here at Lashes and Lipstick and like had to work for someone else again, I don't know if I could actually do that. Like I think I would probably see the deficiencies in their business and tell them how to run things. Like I'm not sure if they would actually appreciate that. So what keeps me going in entrepreneurship is like I don't really have another option.
yeah, yeah. I feel very much the same way. Like I was funny enough, if you asked me when I was in school, I went to school for kinesiology.
Yeah.
Largely kinesiology grads don't become entrepreneurs. So, and I didn't think I'd be an entrepreneur at all. But when I was 22, I registered my own business and I went full time on my own at 2023. And now I'm almost 38, saying so same thing as you in the sense that I don't know how to do it. That's all I've done my entire adult life so far. Um,
Yeah,
I,
what would you do? Like what else would you do?
yeah,
I've always thought about this actually. I thought a lot about it because being like in the rooms, like servicing gets a little tiring. It's a lot of lasers. It's a lot, especially the medical stuff that I'm doing, the medical grade stuff that I'm doing. So if I try to think like, okay, worst comes to worst, like if Lashes and Lipstick no longer existed, like what would I do? And
yeah,
I'm like consulting, mentorship, maybe laser sales,
yeah.
skincare sales. Like it would be something like that, but
Yeah.
like I could not go and work in somebody else's spa. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I often have the same thoughts. Like, what would I do if Fitness Solutions Plus didn't exist anymore? I'm like, well, I've developed a lot of skills as an entrepreneur. Like, my core skill, of course, is personal training. That I mean, I have a degree in kinesiology, etc. But because I'm also an entrepreneur, I've developed so many other skills, like public speaking, and not just public speaking, like what to say, but there's a difference between speaking for motivation, speaking for education, and speaking for sales. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't get paid to motivate. That might be a side effect. I don't get paid to educate. That might be a side effect. I get paid to sell. So I have that skill. I'm very, very good at face-to-face sales.
Mhm.
which by the way, I used to be very bad. So this is not a natural thing. I had to deconstruct and figure out how to do it. So I would probably do sales training. And I've actually done sales training for Good Life already.
Yeah.
I'm like, what else am I good at? I'd like to think I'm very, very good at writing. I've written 18 books so far. Uh,
18
18
on what?
on different conditions. For example, I have one called osteoporosis reversal secrets. I have high blood pressure reversal secrets.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I have another one coming out probably in about a week. Um, so I'm just, and I figured out the algorithm. I know how to write a book in 7 to 12 days, 1 to 3 hours a day. So like those are things I could consult on. Those
It's
are,
impressive.
yeah, thank you, thank you. But the more books I write, A, the better the writing gets, but B, also the better the marketing gets for the book. So I'm like, okay, if I didn't do personal training, there's other things related to entrepreneurship that I could do. Um,
Definitely.
now I know what I'm good at. I also know what I'm bad at. Like
Yeah.
social media, I am horrible. If you ask me to sit in front of my computer and go on Photoshop or Canva and then create a post for Instagram or Facebook or anything, I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And I have no interest in learning how.
I
Uh,
know how to do it. I am not creative enough to do it.
yeah,
So that's why I have someone on my team that she focuses on the actual content creation on Canva. She gives me real ideas. She does all these things. And I do the posting, but like she just does the creation of it because I
yeah,
am not good at it. But she loves the aesthetic of like what our Instagram could look like.
yes,
That's
exactly.
what she's good at. So you gotta, you have to hire for what people are good for and
Yeah,
what they're good at.
exactly. Yeah. The stuff you like and the stuff you're good at, you can do yourself. The stuff you don't like or are not good at, somebody else can do it for you.
Totally.
Absolutely. Now, what are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
A couple different things that are in the works. So one of them is we launched memberships last year. They're called the filter free memberships. There's two versions of them, and we're launching a third soon. So essentially, it's the first two memberships are skincare based. The other membership is more so of a brow based membership.
Right.
I'm finding that people are really enjoying the membership model because they don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's affordable. They come in, we do whatever it is that they need to do. They book their next appointment and they go home. They don't got to think about it. They don't have to pay. They don't have to like it's already done. It's an auto payment. It's whatever. They have already it makes a lot of sense for them. So I am working on rolling out some more memberships.
Yeah.
I'm working on a rebrand as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah, so which is a little bit scary because Lashes and Lipstick has been Lashes and Lipstick since 2017,
Yeah.
but the name Lashes and Lipstick no longer encompasses what we do and
Yeah.
what we're about. So towards the end of the year, I am going to be rebranding. So that is scary and it's a lot of work. And I can't believe all the legal stuff that you have to go through all over again. It's just
Yeah.
like starting a business from scratch, which is so wild. But I really truly feel that it needs to be done. So I'm working on that sort of stuff.
Ooh, very exciting. Do you already have a name for the new business? Or
Yeah,
the
I have one in the works. I have one in the works. We'll
Okay.
see. I'm still playing around with, I was trying to keep the L and L sort of
Yeah.
initials. It's not working out the way I want it to.
Okay.
So if I'm going to rebrand, I'm just going to go big and we're going to name change everything. I'm also going to start redecorating in here as well and just making things look less clinical and just a little bit more inviting, a little bit more welcoming. So
Okay. Very exciting stuff in the works.
we've got some stuff in the works.
The memberships are an extremely good idea. I
Mm-hmm.
volunteer for the city of Markham as a small business mentor, and a lot of my I guess mentees who are in service or even product-based businesses, and they're always wondering, how do I get new clients? Um, and we always ask them, how many clients have you already had? They whatever number they say, we're like, it's much easier to make a sale to an existing or past client than to find a new client to make that sale.
Correct.
It's so A, it's good for your clients because never have to remember to make an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
B, it's good for you for business because you're just selling an existing service to somebody who already knows you, loves you, and trusts you. Um, so it's a win-win-win all around. So fantastic idea.
I tell my team all the time that it is easier for us as a business to retain clients than
Yes.
it is for me to get new clients through the door. If we just retain what we have and
100%.
upgrade and excel their experience every single time, we
Yeah.
will be much better off than me having to bring in 100 or 200 new clients every month.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just, our bread and butter is our repeat business. It's our retention. And we're at, 70 to 80%, which is wild for this industry. But I think that we
That
do
is
it really
fantastic.
well.
Yeah, I did a presentation at a personal training conference about a year ago on client retention. It was the same thing in personal training,
Yeah.
and I gave this example. Let's say personal trainer one has 10 clients, and they're terrible at marketing. They're not bringing in any clients, and they're also terrible at retention. They lose one client per month. In 10 months, this personal trainer is out of business.
Yeah.
Personal trainer two is equally bad at retention, but they're better at marketing. They get one new client per month. Um, so they gain one, they lose one. Net, they have no growth, but they have no decrease. That's where a lot of personal trainers are. But then personal trainer three is just as good at marketing as personal trainer two, but is 50% better at retention. They lose one client every other month instead of every month.
Mhm.
But they gain one client per month. This trainer has doubled their business in 10 months. Okay. The sexy thing is really to find new clients. The very unsexy is to retain existing clients, but that's where the profits are.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And like even just building that relationship with them, like they come in and I'm like, oh, so did you guys go on that trip? Or, did your husband do what he said he was going to do? You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like having girlfriends all the time and
Yeah.
having new conversations with these girlfriends all the time. Like I have learned so much about marriage, relationships, having babies, like pregnancy, like it's been absolutely unreal because of the experiences that they share with me. So I think that's also the beauty of retaining these clients is the fact that we get to build such honest, trustworthy, beautiful relationships with them.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I actually noticed the same thing with my trainers. Back in 2015, I tried to like really focus on retention. So I analyzed the results of the clients of all of my trainers, all of my staff, and I tried to figure out what is it that differentiates my high retention trainers from my low retention trainers. And I thought it has to be the results. Like the high retention trainers have to be getting better results with their clients. But when I actually did a client by client analysis, I saw that's not the case. They're getting equally good results. So technically, they're equally good at anatomy, physiology, all that stuff. So I'm like, that's not it. So what is it that differentiates my high retention from my lower retention trainers? Then I got to it. I dug deep, and I saw that about 80% of my higher 80% of the time, my high retention trainers are not talking about anything fitness related. They're talking about, yeah, how's your husband, how's your wife, how are your kids, how was the vacation, how was that movie you went to see? And 20% of the time, they talk about fitness.
Mhm.
My lower retention trainers, it's either like silence in between, or they just talk about fitness and nutrition the whole time.
It's boring.
It's boring. Yes,
It's
exactly.
boring.
Yeah. And so you're absolutely right. It's this the relationship that improves the retention.
Yeah.
So yeah, dead on. What obstacles have you encountered in your time as both an esthetician and an entrepreneur?
It's a great question. So, obviously, as an entrepreneur, COVID.
Yeah,
That
especially
was
with your location in January 20.
I was literally, I grabbed my keys to this place January 2nd of 2020. We
Oh
did
no.
not start any renovations and like we built this place from scratch.
Yeah,
We did not start any renovations until February of 2020. March 20th or March 19th,
yeah,
everything shut down.
yeah.
But we were still building. There was no money coming in
Oh,
anymore.
scary.
So it was an interesting time. So that would be as an entrepreneur, like surviving that, and
Yeah.
not only just building it, but like the after effects of it. Like we closed off and on for 9 months, and I know that the fitness industry was hit a lot harder, but having to navigate these closures, client and team safety, just all of it, the amount that I had to adapt and pivot and shift was just I can't even like I almost have PTSD about it. Like I can't even go back and think. But we did what we had to do. We made it through. Our clients were behind us 110% of the time, whether they were buying gift cards to use for futures or I made like little boxes of like face masks and pedicure boxes because everyone was doing these things at home. So,
Yeah.
I had to pivot. I had to think, what are people doing? What are they buying? I was doing like online stuff where I was showing people how to shape their eyebrows while they were at home. So the support that I had from, the clients during that time was absolutely unreal. And like they are the reason why we made it through that.
Oh yeah, yeah. The fact that you have such a personal connection that you survived COVID when a lot of businesses didn't, I think that helps a lot because they weren't just buying for their own self-interest, they were buying because they wanted you to succeed.
Yeah, they wanted me on the other side of COVID. Like they wanted lashes and lipstick to be there. That way we could laser their legs come the summertime or whenever it was that we were allowed to reopen. So it goes back to that client relationship. I always find client relationships to be super, super, super important to my business, just all around. And I think that's what really differentiates us from perhaps other places.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can tell.
But as an esthetician, as a medical esthetician, the obstacle that I think all of us face in this industry is clients that want those instant results because we live in an instant industry, right? Or sorry, we live in an instant world. Everything is instant at our fingertips. But when it comes to skin, for example, our skin was not made sort of overnight. The conditions that we have did not happen overnight. They were built over time. So we cannot get you overnight results. So sort of managing those expectations,
Yeah.
it's not just a manicure that I go for, oh, this nice manicure and it's done right away, or waxing where we remove the hair and the hair is gone and you don't have to worry about it. Like when it comes to skin, when it comes to laser hair removal, it's not overnight resuls.
Yeah.
It takes
I
time. So
mean,
managing those expectations.
yeah. I mean, I can relate 100% because sometimes we have clients and they're like, I always ask, what are your goals? Sometimes they have mutually exclusive goals. So, but they don't realize they're mutually exclusive. So I manage their expectations by explaining why they're mutually exclusive. So how do you manage expectations? How do you do that?
Open, honest, compassion, like that type of communication. If they come in, they say to me, hey, Anna, like I'm looking to achieve this result. Here's what I want to do. I'm just like, it's actually not going to get you the result that you're looking for. So being honest with them about what I can achieve and what I can do. And if I cannot do it and I need to refer them out, then I am happy to refer them to somebody who can give them the result that they're looking for. Maybe I don't have the skill set or the equipment or whatever it is, which is not very often, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But if I cannot do something for them, or if what they're looking for is not going to give them the actual result that they're looking for, like I do have to turn them away in the sense that like I need to move them to a different program or whatever it is. So I think being honest and just straight up being like, hey, this actually isn't going to work for you, but here's what will, and here's the proof,
Yeah.
it usually
Yeah.
shifts them.
Yeah. Yeah. On the one hand, you tell them this can't be done because ABC, but also they trust you more because you're not selling them a bill of goods that you can't deliver.
No, that's exactly it. So for example, when I have redheads come in that want laser hair removal, I'm like, about 90% of the time, this is not going to work on you. If
Yeah.
your hair does not have any sort of brown pigment to it, this laser, and not just my laser, any laser technology in general, will not work the best on red hair. So all I can suggest is do one treatment. If you do not see a result in that one treatment, laser hair removal is not for you and you're going to move on, right? But I cannot say to you that, oh yeah, this is going to work, because it doesn't. But if
Yeah.
you still want to try it, sure, let's try it. I just don't think it's going to work. But
Yeah.
when they come back and they're like, actually, it did work, then I'm like, oh, amazing, let's keep going,
Yeah.
right?
I'm happy I made that mistake.
Right. So it's one of those things where you what is the word? Under promise, over deliver.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always say that about Amazon. They tell you it's going to arrive later than they know it's going to arrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Amazon's a great example of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. They manage expectations very well.
Totally.
Now, I know we're entrepreneurs. We have very little going on besides our own business. But in the free time, in the little free time that you do have, what do you do?
I hang out with my niece because she's 13 months old and she's super cute and she's so fun right now. So I hang out with her whenever I have some time off. In the summertime, I golf. I love golfing, although we were just discussing this earlier, it's been
Yeah.
raining and ugly. So I have not been out much. I've been to the driving range a couple of times and I've maybe played one or two rounds, but um, yeah, golf has kind of been put on hold because of the weather that we've been having. So, anyways, in the summer, I golf. In the winter, my clients know I love my weekend getaways. So, I go 2, 3 nights. I head to the Bahamas maybe like a few times a year. I
Yeah.
enjoy that. I like getting away in the winter time and
Oh, beautiful.
traveling. And that's what I do.
Same here. I love winter getaways.
Yeah.
I used to chunk the winter psychologically. I'm thinking, okay, if I can just get through this segment, okay, that's done. I can get to the next segment. My chunking system works like this. December 1st, unofficial start of winter. December 21st, I think, official start of winter.
Yep.
Okay. January 1st. Okay, one third is done, two-thirds to go. So I had to, and I kept breaking it up.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
I
And we
like,
know January is a really long, ugly month. And
yeah,
then even though February is short, February is just as bad. But come March, you're like, ah,
yeah.
there's sun again.
Yeah. That's why I like to schedule a winter getaway like mid to late January that goes over like 7 days. Same
Yeah,
in the Caribbean somewhere.
that's a great one, but I don't like to leave for that long. I get extremely bored. I am gone for like 2, 3 nights at the most. Like
Uh,
this summer, or sorry, this past winter, I went to Mexico, I went to Bahamas twice, I went to Jamaica, and I went to Miami, and I was only gone for a few nights each time because I cannot handle any longer than that.
yeah, I hear ya.
Yeah.
Before I met my wife, I didn't take a vacation for 17 years. Um,
Wild.
because I had this, I guess, this idea that I have a responsibility to my clients. Like these results we have achieved, if I'm not training them, they're regressing. And I'm like, we were so like their result, their progress is my progress. I like once we've achieved something, I don't want to regress and work hard to get back there. We can just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I got a wife and she says, you got to go on vacation.
No,
So
you need vacation. And I think a lot of, our results that we can get for clients or just the way we interact with our clients or just the business in general is better when we're like mentally healthy and we're mentally happy,
yeah,
right? So like, it's not a regression. Your clients should be able to go to the gym once or twice without you, right?
I know.
So I'm glad you're taking vacations now. That's great.
Me too, me too. And since this is, after all, a best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
Okay, that's so great of a question because I have a few of them that I frequent.
Awesome.
So I love patios. Of course, you will find me on pretty much any patio in Markham at any time.
Awesome.
But typically, I go to Il Postino because I love their
I-
patio. It's so nice. Watercolor is amazing as well. They've got such great food and just a nice vibe inside. So you'll find me on like one of those patios. Um, what else do I do? I get my hair done in Markham at Styles of Creation. I
Cool.
see Caitlin over there. So, there's that. I get my nails done on Unionville Main Street. I go to Girls Talk. So there's a couple different things. My Pilates, reformer Pilates, I go over to Groove Bar.
Awesome.
Those are all great businesses here in Markham.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I interview a bunch of them.
Oh, have you already?
Yeah, I want to.
Oh, you will. You will. That's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then everything else that I do for myself, I do it in-house, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And lastly, how can our viewers and listeners get in touch with you?
So we have an Instagram, which is lashes and lipstick CA. Our website is also lashes-and-lipstick.ca. So yeah, if they want to get in touch, they can head over to Instagram, give us a follow, send me a DM, just connect and say hi if you have any questions about anything, or even if you just want to say hi, like my DMs are always open.
Beautiful. I'll have all those contact details in the show notes as well. Anna, thank you so much for having for being here. I really appreciate this.
Thank you.